What if I told you that the most powerful currency in the world may be facing one of its biggest tests? For decades, the US dollar has been more than just money. It has been power. It has been trust. It has been the currency behind global trade, international markets, oil, debt, banking, and financial security. But now people are asking a question that once sounded impossible. Is the US dollar losing its power? Welcome to NextGenFinance, where we break down money, business, the economy, and financial psychology in the simplest way possible. Today we're uncovering the story behind the US dollar, why it became so powerful, why some people are worried, and what could happen if confidence in the dollar starts to weaken. To understand the fear, you first need to understand the power. The US dollar is the world's main reserve currency. That means countries, banks, businesses, and investors around the world hold dollars because they trust them. When global trade happens, dollars are often involved. When commodities are priced, dollars are often involved. When investors panic, many run toward dollars for safety. That is a massive advantage for the United States because when the world wants your currency, you have financial power. But power depends on trust. And trust can weaken if people begin to question the future. The first reason people worry about the dollar is debt. America has borrowed a lot of money. Government debt has grown massively over time. And when debt grows, people start asking difficult questions. How long can this continue? How much interest will the government have to pay? Will future taxpayers carry the burden? Can the system handle more debt? These questions create uncertainty. Debt does not destroy a currency overnight, but too much debt can make investors nervous, especially if they believe the country may struggle to control spending. The second concern is inflation. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of money. If prices rise, each dollar buys less than before. This is one of the biggest fears for ordinary people. They may still have dollars, but those dollars do not feel as strong. Groceries cost more, rent costs more, insurance costs more, healthcare costs more. When people feel that their money is losing value, confidence weakens. And confidence is the foundation of any currency. The third concern is interest payments. When debt rises and interest rates are high, the government must spend more money just to pay interest on its debt. That means more national income goes toward past borrowing instead of future investment. This creates pressure. It can affect budgets, it can affect markets, it can affect investor confidence, and if investors demand higher returns to lend money, borrowing becomes even more expensive. That is how financial pressure builds. The fourth concern is global competition. Some countries want to reduce dependence on the US dollar. They want to trade in other currencies. They want alternatives. They want more control over their own financial systems. This does not mean the dollar will disappear, but it does show that the world is thinking differently. For decades, the dollar was almost untouchable. Now, more countries are at least asking whether they should rely on it less. That question matters, because if the world slowly reduces demand for dollars, America's financial advantage could weaken over time. But here's the other side. The dollar is still extremely powerful. The US has deep financial markets, strong institutions, massive global influence, and one of the largest economies in the world. Replacing the dollar is not easy. Trust takes decades to build. Global systems do not change overnight. Investors need safety, liquidity, and stability. And for now, the dollar still provides things many alternatives cannot. So the story is not simple. The dollar is not collapsing tomorrow, but it is facing pressure, debt pressure, inflation pressure, political pressure, global competition, market uncertainty. This is why the dollar story is so important, because the dollar affects everyone. If the dollar weakens, imports can become more expensive. Inflation can become harder to control. Global markets can shift. Interest rates can be affected. Investment flows can change. And ordinary people may feel it through prices, savings, jobs, and financial stability. Most people do not think about currency power every day. They think about rent, groceries, gas, bills, paychecks. But behind all of those things is money. And behind money is trust. The US dollar is powerful because people believe in it. If that belief stays strong, the dollar stays strong. If that belief weakens, the world changes. So is the US dollar losing its power? The honest answer is not completely, but the warning signs are real. The dollar is still dominant, but dominance does not mean invincible. The biggest lesson is this: no financial system stays strong automatically. It must be managed carefully. Debt must be controlled. Inflation must be respected. Trust must be protected. Because once trust is damaged, rebuilding it can be very difficult. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to NextGenFinance for more powerful videos about money, markets, business, and the economy. And remember, money is not just paper, money is trust. And trust is the real power behind the dollar